Welcome to the Moms I Know with Sheila Walsh-Dunton and Maria Anderson-Farner. Two moms on a mission to reclaim childhood and take you from surviving to thriving on your parenting journey.
Let thy food be thy inspiration.
Hi, this is Sheila.
And this is Maria.
And we want to welcome you to The Moms I Know. That's a quote from Kelly Dearie, and we are lucky enough to have her here with us to talk about gut health and specifically gut health and libido today. So welcome, Kelly.
Welcome. Thanks for having me, Sheila.
Yeah. I have known Kelly probably about 10 years or so. I started my gut exploration 10 years ago with my healing crisis. And it's interesting is that I think why I was attracted to you is because you were already in the process of making beet kvass.
Yeah.
And my business, Purple Beet Nutrition, is because of the beet kvass, right? So it's that we had that kind of connection right there. And so Kelly is an amazing creative, inspirational in the kitchen. She has her own juice lines with beet kvass and bee pollen drinks and chlorophyll drinks. And she offers retreats, and she is just super inspirational and knowledgeable, all things gut related. So super happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can you tell us, I know your story, but I think your story is so important to hear the possibility. So how did you come to nutrition, specifically gut health?
Yeah, so my husband and I had never really been into nutrition that much. Growing up, it was kind of, Lucky Charms and Pop-Tarts and things like most Americans grow up on. And both of us, being sick all the time, just like every normal American is sick all the time, and antibiotics constantly and bronchitis and all those types of things. And it wasn't until we were both 32 years of age, and he was diagnosed with a life-threatening autoimmune disease, and Stanford doctors were going to have to take out his spleen, and it was a 40% risk that he would die during the surgery. It was really scary, and he also had hip collapse because of the corticosteroids they gave him from past episodes of the same disease. So they said he had the hips of a 130-year-old man. So not only he might die, but if he does survive, he would never be able to hike, run, mountain bike, snowboard, anything like that. And that was his life blood at that young age, his form of stress relief and fun. And so it was really devastating to hear that news. And that day after he had that second opinion at Stanford, which was the same as the first opinion, we basically were in such a state of despair. And with a 3-year-old child, we all know as moms that a state of despair is dysfunctional. It doesn't work energetically. You can't function as a family. So we knew we had to change that and shift that. And we didn't know what to do. We were feeling really stuck. So we ended up and we weren't really spiritual people, but we ended up just sitting on the floor of our little cottage and let's just meditate and pray because nothing else is going to work here. And so we knew that much, and we sat down and we held hands and we just closed our eyes, and we just allowed whatever divine wisdom, to present itself and to receive that. And when we opened our eyes at the exact same moment. And we found ourselves looking at each other with this sense of hopefulness, and that wave of despair had been lifted. And it was like this inner knowing that we're going to be okay. Like our family's going to be okay. And there's a path that's right. And that one's not. And then it was so cool. We ended up making an appointment with Craig Lane, who you know very well. Mm-hmm. And he was a friend of ours at that time. And now he's our favorite family nutritionist. And he was like, don't let them take out your spleen. You need that does this. And it's a very important organ. And so he encouraged us to cancel the appointment, and he gave us hundreds of foods that Charlie should and shouldn't eat. And so then my new full-time job, I was a school teacher at the time. So we had a 3-year-old, and we were both full-time in new careers because we had come out of the university in a lot of debt. So we had to really work hard at that time in our life. And so now I had this other full-time job of being my husband's therapeutic chef. But the good news is his platelet count went from 1,000 to 100,000 in just 2 weeks. And the coolest part about it is that we never had to participate in the Western medical system again. He actually got a waiver to go straight to the lab from one of his doctors. So he didn't have to see people that were going to disempower him and tell him he can't heal and that he's going to be disabled and that he might die. That's not empowering. Like, how hard is it to heal if someone's telling you can't? It's really hard. You have to find someone that believes in you 100%. Now, Craig was that person for us. We were that mirror for each other, my husband and I, and our lives really changed. I mean, everything changed. That was my last year teaching. I thought I'd be a school teacher forever because I had gone from years of preschool teaching and then finally got my master's in education and my credential. And I just thought that was me for the rest of my life. I never thought I would be teaching people how to heal with foods. Just completely different path. Or, launching the beverage company, which was totally crazy. And we were in Whole Foods and all over Northern California. I had to close that down. That was too much. But yeah, so it's been a powerful journey and it continues to evolve and grow every day.
What a story. And also I can so relate. And it was Craig Lane who helped me as well to get on my path. And I love what you said of surround yourself with people who are going to empower you, because it has been, my experience was, it's been 10 years as well. And it's been 10 years since I've been inside a Western doctor's office.
Wow, we are so on similar paths.
Yes. And so just really interesting there about, you have to surround yourself with people and know there's possibility. There is hope. And that hope is really healing foods. And that's where, and we both have a mission to help mamas, really, for me, it's like, establishing the healthy foundations for the family. So so let's get into it a little bit more. Let's talk, well, I'm going to say, let's talk about sex, baby. Because she said she wanted to talk about gut health and libido.
Yeah.
So tell us, what do we need to know?
So this is a really juicy topic, and especially for moms. Really, Bay Area moms need to be paying attention to this because there's so much stress and pressure right now. They call it the Great College Arms Race, which I'm sure you're very familiar with, especially in the Palo Alto area where, so many parents are getting divorced because of all this pressure to get the kids into college and drive them everywhere. And parents are forgetting to focus on each other. All the focus is on helicoptering the kids, and they're forgetting to focus on each other, and families are falling apart because of it. And there's this huge sexual crisis where they'll go over a year, married couples, without having sex. And that's so incredibly unhealthy. And then the kids aren't getting resilience. The kids aren't doing their own thing and learning from their own mistakes and figuring things out on their own because the parents are controlling their lives and doing everything for them. So it's just epidemic right now. After I read the book, How to Raise an Adult, it really connected everything together because I had also been helping women with, boosting libido. And here's the cool thing about it. When your goal is focused on getting your libido up, all your other health stuff will really start to fall into place. Does that make sense? Isn't that, how much more passion is that? Oh, I want to get my inflammation down. Oh, I want to heal my gut. If you just focus on getting your libido up, all those other things will happen. It's flow. It's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And I've struggled with, many times in my life where I had low libido and we would go maybe a month without having sex. And I just can't believe I even did that. Now, here's the cool thing about libido is you set your intention to increase libido and increase passion in your love life. That's a very strong intention, right? It's very healing. It's a very high vibrational intention. And then you're going to find that the other little things that need to be done, you're going to be attracted to those. Right? Eating the right kinds of foods, putting yourselves in the right situation. And then when you do eat these libido boosting foods, just knowing without the chemical ingredients in the foods that boost your libido and the nutrients, just knowing that eating them is boosting your libido is almost like giving yourself a placebo effect. And we know that placebo is in many cases can be more effective than diet or pharmaceuticals or anything. Right? Here's a really funny example. Okay. All right. So let's say a young person is eating all these foods to boost their libido. That same person can go watch some porn and and it's going to be 20 times as effective as all the foods they ate. Okay. I'm not saying that over the long term, that's a good strategy, but just the power of the mind to induce an effect on the body, genital stimulation, etc. Right? It's very, very, very powerful. So I prefer healing foods. That's how I do it. It excites me. And then you're getting all these additional nutritional benefits. So I actually typed these out to give to you. So this is a class I do called Foods for Happiness and Libido. And these are all my different recipes that I recommend that I'm going to give you. So the reason I brought this was because there's so many things we can do that are nutritious. And the cool thing about it is a lot of these foods that boost libido also happen to help boost gut health as well and restore the gut health. And if you have poor gut health, you do not have healthy libido. So we can say that a lot. If you don't have good gut health, you know, we could do that with a lot of different things. Libido is one of them. So just going on a diet that is gut friendly, that's going to rebalance your microbiome and start to kick out the undesirable microorganisms and pathogens that you don't want in your gut and start to repopulate with healthy gut bacteria like lactobacillus species and species that are going to give your body an overall benefit. You as the host, to, you know, you have about 1 to 300 trillion of these beneficial microorganisms. Okay, some are good and some are not so good. And the not so good ones are great to have. That's what helps prevent autoimmune disease, because then your body has something to work on. It's going to keep busy attacking the pathogens and the things that it doesn't need in the right ratio. And then the good ones, you should have about 80%. The bad ones, about 20%. And then they're going to have an overall benefit on keeping your stress system supported. They're going to help you to keep your neurological system functioning smoothly, your nervous system, your organ system. I mean, these microbes basically are chemical, they're secreting these DNA proteins through your blood that help regulate all these bodily functions to keep you happy, so that you will be happy and you will keep providing the best food for them that feeds them, because you're their host. And we've evolved with these microorganisms for, you know, as long as humans and animals have been on the planet. So they're just a part of us. Now with antibiotics, we're wiping them out, which is why so many people have poor gut health and low libido.
What wipes out your good bacteria? What are those things that are leading to a bad gut? You know, I know we know processed food.
Yeah, but let me tell you, the number one is antibiotics above everything, above vaccines, above processed food, above pharmaceuticals. It is antibiotics. Okay. Then you have the other ones I mentioned, plus alcohol is a big one. Mm-hmm. But the scary thing is now children are born, and I know moms who their doctors said that it's mandatory. Their infant has to have a shot of antibiotics.
Right.
How scary is that? Because that's the first inoculation. Mm-hmm. With there should be like 700 something species in a healthy vaginal canal that are going to inoculate the baby.
Right. Which is so important if you are able to have a vaginal birth, because that's the first inoculation, as well as breastfeeding. Yeah.
They are starting to swipe now, which is great.
If you have a knowledgeable doctor. So.
Yeah. If you have a knowledgeable doctor. Yeah. So this morning I was doing a little more research on, I'm putting together this document. It's all these amazing foods that help to stimulate libido. So it's kind of exciting. And, you know, the cool thing about it is, you know, I was talking about gut bacteria, and some of these herbs, a lot of herbs, scientists are now discovering that the way many herbs work when you ingest them or have them in like a tea is that they're actually starting to interact with your gut bacteria. And the gut bacteria is benefiting and receiving information, and then it's actually helping to produce an effect. So a lot of it isn't necessarily just the herbs alone, it's how your gut bacteria interact with the herbs, which I think is really fascinating. The other thing I wanted to say is our gut bacteria helps us produce hormones, enzymes, and especially hormones that are essential for healthy sexual function. So serotonin is one of those feel-good hormones that we all know about. And we used to think it's just secreted in the brain, and, you know, you just need to get on a pill if you're depressed, an antidepressant. And then all of a sudden, you feel better because it's going to make more serotonin. Well, a lot of pharmaceuticals are very damaging to gut bacteria, and actually some are damaging to the gut lining itself. And the thing is 80 to 90% of your serotonin is produced by, guess what? Gut bacteria, we now know, right? So how empowering is that? So if you go on a gut healing regimen and change your lifestyle a bit and change your diet a bit so you can create this rich, diverse inner ecosystem and your intestinal flora is so healthy and vibrant, then you don't need antidepressants. And there's so many things you can do that will continue to stimulate those hormones and those chemicals that make us feel good and happy, right? So internally, and then of course the things we do externally make a huge difference in our gut bacteria. Just exercising alone without changing your diet, you will have a more favorable microbial population without even changing the diet. Meditation can do the same thing. So it's so amazing. We're living in a time that is so incredible with the new research on the human microbiome, and every week there's new discoveries. I mean, it's absolutely incredible.
Right. I think the human genome was in 2007, the project. And then from that, just the research is just going deeper and deeper. And I feel like you said, like every day, but I know we're hearing that the gut health linked to Alzheimer's, gut health linked to Parkinson's, gut health linked to so many ailments that we didn't have answers to before. And now it's just like, yes, it is, it all leads back to your gut.
Yeah.
So specifically, what are some of those foods that will help us if we want to have a healthy libido? What are some of those specific foods that will help us?
Yeah, there's so many. I mean, I put this together when I did the class last year on foods for happiness and libido. And then last night, I kept finding more and more. And I was adding to the list. I'm like, I'm not going to have time to tell her about all this, but
how about top 10?
Yeah,
top 10. Okay. So, well, let's do beet kvass. We talked about beet kvass. So, a lot of athletes are drinking beet juice and beet kvass. Now, beet kvass is even more powerful than beet juice because beet kvass is basically whole chunks of beets fermenting in a brine. And it's a lactobacillus ferment. But the beauty of beet kvass and sexual stimulation is that it works like Viagra. So because of the high concentration of nitric oxide, which is multiplied due to the ferment, as well as the enzymes and probiotics and antioxidants are all increased just from fermentation, which a lot of people don't know. Amazing. This nitric oxide, it allows your capillaries to dilate. That means more blood flow, means more oxygen. Your body can hold on to more oxygen. So athletes typically will drink beet juice to increase stamina, and cyclists in studies have been shown to ride longer.
Can I just say
harder?
Can I just say one thing about that? That I've told my son this last year, and my son's a cross country and track runner, obviously. Yeah. And this past early May, he had his race on a Friday. He started drinking beet kvass. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. He took off 10 seconds off his time and got a 4:51 in the mile. It was pretty amazing. Or he took like 8 seconds, but yeah. And he attributes it to beet kvass and sardines.
I'm getting my beets today.
That's funny. My son eats sardines every day right before he goes to his ninja study workout. I don't tell him to do that. I'm like, yes. Secretly, I'm just pretending like, oh, that's cool. And inside, I'm like, oh my God, yes. Okay, so here's my favorite. Are you ready for this one? Oysters. A lot of people already know about that one. All I have to say is, ladies, moms, just if you know you're going to have some time alone with your husband, and you guys eat oysters first, you will not be disappointed. Eat them on a bed of arugula. Okay, so that's been used as an aphrodisiac since Roman times, arugula. And the other Roman aphrodisiac was figs and anise, which is, most people think of it as a digestive aid because it helps with healthy digestive motility, intestinal motility. But anise is actually, there's compounds in there that stimulate the genitals.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many things I'm learning. Maca is really great. Any adaptogen is going to increase your libido. Any adaptogen.
What's an adaptogen?
So an adaptogenic herb is one that boosts your body's ability to cope with stress. Because when cortisol is overproduced, you actually run out and become depleted. So if you're under chronic stress, you run out of your cortisol because your adrenals are burning through it. And you get all this extra adrenaline, and then that goes away, and then you don't have enough for yourself, and you're totally fatigued. It's called adrenal fatigue. So this total imbalance. Now, now these adaptogenic herbs, most of them keep cortisol under control. So you're not overproducing. It's helping you to stay calm and balanced. And so some good adaptogenic herbs are reishi mushroom is really great. Ginseng is really great. Dong quai is called the female ginseng, and that can also be used to balance hormones. And I used it I have complete steady menstruation, no cramping. I mean, I have a beautiful balanced hormonal system, but I can tell you that most of my life was not like that. And now that I'm doing the gut healing diet, I find I don't even need these herbs anymore. That's what's amazing. Your gut bacteria can do all the stuff that herbs can do. Mm-hmm. It's just that if you don't have enough, or you don't have enough nutrition in your body, the herbs can be really helpful to set you straight. But you don't actually need the herbs. That's the cool thing.
I want to say something. You just said that gut health, if you have good gut health, you are going to age without the pains that we have been told we're supposed to have. The hot flashes, the painful menopause, the hormone replacement therapy. And that's the key here, is that it is a possibility for you to age gracefully without that, if you have proper gut health.
Yeah, I totally agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the thing about aging too is modern researchers, they're now taking human cells and they can be preserved forever. I mean, that's the truth. So if you think of your own human cells, what's degenerating your human cells? There's a lot of things. There's toxins. There's oxidation is the big one, right? Mm-hmm. Now, with certain antioxidants, cells can be preserved forever. So if you think about nutritionally, what are you putting in your body? Now you really see how important it is, right? To have all these fruits and vegetables and things that are high in antioxidants. And then, of course, the healthy fats are absolutely necessary for libido, because that's going to keep your hormones balanced. If you're not doing ghee and those egg yolks and all those rich, healthy fats, then your hormones can't function properly. They absolutely require those fat-soluble nutrients, especially in some of the grass-fed animal products. Mm-hmm. And of course, there's some vegan things too. But I, if I'm really serious about helping somebody, I'm just going to tell them, like, this is the most nutritious thing you could do, and this is the fastest result. And then you can choose, mm-hmm. right, what you want to do. This is based on all my research and knowledge and everything I've been able to do to help my clients. So
really amazing. You are a wealth of knowledge. Is there anything else that you want to add to that libido conversation? Because I do think that as moms, we get stressed out. I know that for me, my homeschool journey took a toll on our marriage. Took a toll on, being present and being, having a sexual relationship, because I was so stressed out. I was, homeschooling 3 kids, and it was hard. I see a lot of marriages go south because the attention is not there. And it's just, if you're having sex, you're going to be fine. It's when you stop, it's like when you connect, when you have sex, you're going to be fine. And that's something my husband and I, we've always been able to go back to. So that's why after 25 years, we are still fine. But when you stop having the sex, when you say, like, you go a month, 2 months, 3 months, I know, like, they've gone for a year without sex, and the kids are fine, but are they really? They're not seeing a loving relationship. They're not seeing parents happy, because they are depleted and not being met sexually, which is, for women especially, it's our power force.
I think we really have a perfect storm here too right now, because more and more women are back into the workforce. Parenting itself is so stressful. We're not sleeping as well. So when we look at this, lack of sleep, the antibiotics, the possible use of alcohol to kind of relax, the stress, the toxins, the oxidative stress. I mean, and you were talking about the Bay Area. I mean, I really think that this is across the United States and in most of the Western worlds. We've got this, everybody is doing way too much, trying to do everything perfectly. And so we have to look at all of these things in combination. And I love that you're giving us such concrete information about when we focus on libido, it's actually helping everything. And so it's, I think, you know, for us as moms, or as grandmothers, you know, to be looking at this, like, you know, a healthy sex life is overall health. And so to be able to look at our nutrition that way, I love the way that you focus it there, and then all those other things are going to fall into place. And so, and you've shared so many wonderful tips with us, and I would hope that, you know, we'll be able to list your full list in the show notes. And so for our listeners to be able to go, okay, you know, this is amazing. I can really focus on some simple tips that are going to be so effective. So this is fascinating. And then, you know, taking it into the menopause piece, because I think also for young moms to be thinking about their future as well and really building that foundation. Because I know for me, I really depleted myself in my 20s and 30s, trying to be that, you know, perfect mom and do everything well. And, you know, there is that idea of balance. So thank you so much for really focusing us there.
Yeah, and we forget that sometimes our kids can be better off if we're not always there. That was a big, I kind of wish I would have embraced that wisdom earlier on, because I wouldn't have been so stressed out and going through so much, because we think, oh, we're always present for our kids and that's the right thing to do. But actually the research shows it's not. I mean, honestly, it's not. It's better for them to have more freedom and make more mistakes. I'm like, wow, I could have done that and actually had a better sex life. And, you know, and here's the other thing is, we all know that husbands are the last to want to join on the programs, right? Like if you're going to do a cleanse or a detox, or you're going to institute some new dietary change in your family that's going to make everyone feel better. It's usually the moms, you know, not always, but usually it's the moms. Now, when you go, hey, honey, I'm going to join Kelly's 12-week gut health program, and I want to do it because it's going to increase our libido. Your husband will be on board.
Immediately.
Okay, whatever it is.
Immediately, right. No, it's
Perfect.
true. I know I should reframe it, but it's amazing how my husband is, like, he does the bone broth every week now. You know? He does. But you know, my husband does do the bone broth every week. And so it works, you know, once they know the buy-in. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't, how many times a day or a minute do men think about sex? I learned it once and it was this crazy amount. It was like per minute. I don't know. Like, I can't remember what it was, but.
Yeah, we used to say, you know, the way to a man's heart is through their stomach. Well, you know, I mean, here we're hitting it with both, you know, libido, food, all of it combined. I love it.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right. So this is awesome. We could talk for hours for sure. But what are you offering? Tell us your website, tell us your programs, tell us how people can get a hold of you and learn more from you.
Yeah. So the website is kellydeary.com. So it's KELLYDEARIE. And it's my homespun website. I'm transitioning to a new one, but that's going to take another couple of months. So, but most of the information's on there. I'm right now, I'm actually in the middle of a 7-day spring into gut health program. I'm leading a group of women and moms, and we're basically healing our guts. And the goal of this week is reducing inflammation. And then we're going to, you know, transition. Some of them are going to join my 12-week program. And that's basically breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, full meal plan for 12 whole weeks. And then every week you learn a different skill. So by the end, you have specific skills. And some people won't do all the skills because some people don't want to make kefir, or they don't want to make sauerkraut, and they can just buy it in the store, which is totally fine. And I say, okay, we'll just make sure it's only this brand because they're not all the same, etc. But every single person who's gone through my 12-week program, it used to be a 6-week, has had amazing results. I mean, and it doesn't take long. Some people in just 7 days.
There's a quote that true health is really closer than you think. It's really right in the kitchen, you know, and I've taken so many courses and everything. And it's just like, and part of my statement is like, reclaim your kitchen, you know, and Kelly is showing you how to reclaim your kitchen with a weekly program that is giving you skills, which is a part of it. You know, it's a skill. And I've seen her Facebook lives, and I've seen her do these making kefir and making ghee, and she is so good. You will really, this is for generational health that you are offering. Yeah. You are a wealth of knowledge.
Well, and I also really get that people are busy and not everybody has time to do all this. So part of the program is also showing people shortcuts. It's like, okay, well, if you don't have time to do that, look what you can do, and look how you can prepare in advance so that you can actually save time in your life and still eat gut healthy food. So when I was doing that whole thing of being a full-time therapeutic chef for my family and teaching full-time, I really had to get smart about how I used my time. So I think that's one of the most valuable pieces that I can share with moms, and, especially moms homeschooling and they're super busy, or working moms, just who really need that extra encouragement.
And I like that you give ideas, because I think something that's changed from 10 years ago is that, well, especially we're in California, but that we have a lot more access to kind of cottage industry, food industry, smaller batch. And so there are some brands that are easier to buy than having to make everything.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kelly, for sharing your wisdom with us. And I hope, gut health is here. It's a part of you, and it's, when are you going to take care of it? Don't wait for a healing crisis to have to take care of it. That's what I had to do. That's how Kelly found it. But we're telling you that you don't have to wait. Thank you. And we'll see you next time on The Moms I Know.
Thanks for joining us today for The Moms I Know. To learn more about Sheila and her online program, The Mom Map, visit purplebeetnutrition.com. For Maria's monthly blog and to learn more about her group programs and retreats, visit soquelessentials.com. That's SOQUEL essentials.com. We hope you enjoyed today's episode of The Moms I Know. Until next week, have a joyful family journey.